Hello, welcome to my second game of the match against Terracubist. The first game, I was first player and won, so pretty excited about that. Second game, they're first player, so we'll get to see if they can match. So draw we've got with Alchemist and Ride, I guess, a little bit with Crypt, not quite. Trashing with Ratcatcher and Lone, which are not the greatest trashers, but they'll get the job done. Gains, obviously Horn of Plenty. You've got Crypt Capital, which is quite the combo. You don't end up paying the debt if your capital goes into the Crypt. So if you can set that up where you're playing capitals every turn and playing a Crypt every turn, then you can gain a ton of money for very little cost. And potentially use Horn of Plenties to gain crypts every turn. So you have a crypt coming in every turn, and then you pull one or two capitals off of one capital off of each crypt, and you just cycle here. I played a match recently, not recorded, in the which match was it? Which mix was that? One of the mixes, and we kept rolling. It was this mix actually. Actually, my last round in this, I rolled Crypt Capital. 3 times out of 4. I won't say they have not, like, it's not 100% that they will see that immediately. I think you do have to open Ratcatcher, and I think I do want to open Lone, even though it's going to be sad once I switch to Potion. But Ratcatcher Potion just feels so unlikely to hit your price points. Fortunately, now I get a silver, which is going to get flipped by the Lone, but that's kind of how it goes. Because they passed on turn 3, it's pretty likely they'll be able to get... Oh, they must have had 2 potion, or 1 potion even, which is quite sad. This will flip an estate. Oh, no, that was a copper. Okay. So now I will get the potion. Now that I have a silver in there and 1 less estate. Again, I fully expect this Lone to see the potion, but we'll see. Wow, it didn't. I'm quite happy with that. So Ratcatcher next hand, silver, a couple of coppers. I think I'm guaranteed to see. I think I'm guaranteed to see the potion. So I'm thinking about just getting a Ride here. I'm not 100% sure that I want any more silvers. I also kind of want to get a Candlestick Maker at some point for the plus buy. So I'm going to do that. Oh, they have spices. That was how they got to that. Yeah, so they've got the plus buy and spices. They hit 5 on turn 4 because they didn't hit. They hit 1 potion on turn 3, so they hit 5 on turn 4. So the question is, do I get a Candlestick Maker now or try to get a Ride to spike 5 in a bit? I don't really want Candlestick Makers in the deck. I think I'd rather have spices in general. But since I'm planning on buying Alchemist the next couple of turns, I'm going to go with the Candlestick Maker now. Feels a bit weakish, but it is, I think, the best plan. Sometimes with the Alchemist stack, you end up buying Alchemist every turn, 5 turns in a row as you're drawing deck, and then you can't actually do anything else on the turns you're buying Alchemist. So I've trashed 2 coppers in an estate. They've trashed 1 estate. So I'm going to be a little bit thinner here. They've just loaded up on Ratcatchers, which makes complete sense. Yeah, so it looks like I will get my spices now, which is good. Obviously would have preferred not to have the Candlestick Maker then. The other question is, do I really need spices? Can I go for Horn of Plenty already? Can I go for Crypt already? Crypt will be quite nice once I'm drawing with Alchemists, but it may be a while before I can get there. And Horn of Plenty will be nice once I have 5 uniques, which I'll be at 4 or 5 uniques here. So I'm going to go 1 spices and then look to get a Horn of Plenty. I'm going to trigger what is a pretty bad shuffle here, it looks like, with my Lone. I may consider not even doing it now that I bought the spices. So I have spices and silver down there, as well as like 3 coppers. But if I don't hit the spices, I'll be able to have a nice shuffle with an Alchemist on top. See the spices, buy a couple things. We'll see what I draw with the Alchemist. I think it's 2 coppers. Yeah, so my discard pile now is silver, spices, rat catcher, 3 coppers. Guess I'm going to play the loan. Okay, bit of a high roll. You know, the I guess that's actually just the buys I wanted. I'm going to spend coffers here and get a horse. I think drawing is important in this kingdom. Getting drawing around, especially because I triggered kind of a baddish shuffle where I may not see my potion next turn. So the horse is going to help me draw. And again, going to try to pick up a Horn of Plenty now, a market, a capital, a crypt. I've got a lot of things I want to buy. And I need to figure out the exact right order. They got a treasury, which is a little bit suspicious to me. I think I prefer all of the other 5s to treasury, maybe except for capital. But you kind of want to get capital and crypt together. So Horn of Plenty seems to me a better card, especially with the number of uniques you'll have: Alchemist, Copper, that kind of stuff. Okay, I did find my potion. Let's put my treasures. So the question is, do I want to get my own Horn of Plenty now, or do I want to get a crypt? I think I'm going to get Alchemist. And the crypt is going to be just really nice in terms of if I can draw a couple of treasures with Alchemists, then I can set aside a bunch of things, get my deck thin, and then start in on the capital stuff. The Horn of Plenty obviously is really nice because it gains me tons of good cards. So spend a coffer, maybe get 1 Alchemist, and I guess with the Horn of Plenty I can gain things. I think the crypt is going to speed up my the stuff that I'm trying to do the fastest. So we'll be able to thin 1 estate here. I may or may not be able to thin a copper. We'll see. The nice thing about treasury, I guess, is you always have 1 more unique on top for your Horn of Plenty. Although they have not bought a Horn of Plenty yet. That's why I said I probably would have preferred to buy the Horn of Plenty first, and then use that to gain the treasury, use that to gain the market, or just use it to gain more horns. But again, draw is somewhat limited here, so I think having more crypts will be helpful. They actually got 3 rat catchers. So they're actually going to be thinner than me, I think, shortly here. I've trashed 3 coppers and 2 estates, so we're actually equally thin. I'll be slightly ahead next turn, but they've got 2 rat catchers down. But being able to set aside some of the silvers and the loan, and obviously the coppers with the crypt, should make it so that I'm quite clean and I'm able to get Horn of Plenty and next turn, and maybe a capital. We'll see if I can draw through. Okay, I found all the stuff, which is good. The last 2 cards are what are the last 2 cards? Spices and 1 more copper. I think I'm gonna call this anyways because I want to cycle back around. I'd rather see my Horn of Plenty that I'm about to buy. I don't even have enough money to buy a Horn of Plenty. Yeah, play this trash. I don't think I need another rat catcher. I will get another. I don't actually need another horse. I'm going to buy a Horn of Plenty here, and I will set aside 3 coppers. Should be enough for me to draw next turn. Let me. Yep, and then my plan will be to gain capital next turn, or maybe a spices, and then Horn of Plenty after that. Maybe that was overly aggressive setting aside. Yeah, I probably could have just set it aside 1 less copper, but my payload's going to be a little low this turn. Yeah, I really want to be hitting 8 potion in all my turns. or 10, obviously, would be the other good price points you can buy Capital Crypt. Yeah. Okay, so they're going for the horns. Okay, so this is again, I'm hitting. Yep, I screwed up last turn. I should have left myself one more copper. I could have done what I wanted to do. So I'm gonna gain Horn of Plenty here, obviously. And or Crypt Capital. I don't know that I can lose the Horn of Plenty split as badly as I'm about to lose it. So gain a Horn of Plenty. And I'll not spend my coffers. I'll go ride. I don't need a ride. Like Silver Alchemist. Buying the silver feels a little bit lame, but I neglected my payload one too many times. Hopefully the extra reliability of the Crypt will help me one of these turns. Yeah, they're still going to be able to have a nice turn with gaining a couple cards with horns, but they're not drawing deck, which is good. And they're not going to be able to draw deck next turn unless they do a couple of rides. So that gives me some hope that I'm still in this game. They do seem to be quite a bit ahead. Yeah, so they should have another unique in their deck somewhere. They will have to call a Rat Catcher to get there. They're just going to gain the rest of the horns. Okay, so I probably have to gain the rest of the horns myself. The rest of the horns that I can gain this turn. Don't call Rat Catcher. Okay, the bottom card of the deck is my 4th Alchemist, I believe, which is fine. So I'm going to gain Horn, Crypt, Capital, Horn, Crypt, Capital, Alchemist. And start with 4 Alchemists on top. And I've got a 5th one down there. So we'll have a decent chance of drawing most of my deck. Be able to set aside a couple more coppers this turn. I can also consider trashing this loan now with the Rat Catcher. But I should be able to set it aside with Crypt next turn. Yeah, I'm going to be a couple cards short of drawing decks. Hopefully find the Crypt and the Capital together. We're also very close to pile territory, especially if they buy this last Alchemist here. Honestly, if they've got four Horn of Plenties in hand, they can gain 4 Rat Catchers, buy Alchemist 2 Rat Catchers, but that's a tie, so that does not work. Wasn't really considering the piles because I feel like I'm behind enough that I had to take like the rest of the Horn of Plenties, for example, and I had to take the Alchemist to try to draw. Certainly, they're very close to being able to pile. One nice thing is that they're not at 8 uniques, so they didn't get a Rat Catcher in play. What is the other unique that they had last turn? Rat Catchers. They mainly have 6 uniques in their deck. They don't have any silvers. I have the crypts, I have the capital, I have the loan, I have the candlestick maker. So I have a lot more uniques than they have. Unfortunately, a bunch of those don't draw, but they're having a similar problem. It is nice that they're able to find the potion. Obviously, if you miss potion one of these turns, you're just in a ton of trouble. And you can't set potion aside with crypt because... Can you? No, because then your alchemists get shuffled in. So this is tough for them. If I draw most of my deck, which I can, if I find my alchemist in the top 8 cards, I'll draw all but 1 card here. And I'll have spices, a couple of Horn of Plenties, capital. I'll be able to buy a bunch of stuff. That capital is going to be nice for pile pressure. So they may think that they need a green here already. Get some duchies. The problem with that is their deck just like falls apart. My deck will fall apart, obviously, too, if I add a couple duchies. So it makes sense to add a unique card like Market, which draws, absolutely. It makes sense. So they're just going to slam Markets and hope I don't have a pile out here. I have buys, Candlestick Maker, Spices, Capital. So I have 4 buys, and I should have 4 Horn of Plenties. So in theory, I can buy Alchemist, gain 4 Rat Catchers, buy Alchemist 2 Rat Catchers estate this turn. I think many of my draws will get me there. We'll have to see how much money I have at the end. Okay, they did get a duchy, which makes sense. I'll take the copper out. No Rat Catcher. So play the Alchemists now. Okay. I left a Horn of Plenty down at the bottom, which is fine, and a Candlestick Maker. Okay. So I'm short buys here. By a couple. So I'm going to need to get some provinces at least. Just go ahead and play this stuff. Not like super worried about info leaks. So I don't really want to touch the Alchemist. I'm going to set aside with Crypt this capital, probably all of the coppers and the silver. The other card on the bottom is a silver. So I have a silver and a Candlestick Maker. So I can kind of count how many cards I want to leave in my deck here. I'm not seeing a pile out as I have 6 gains here, and the piles would take 7. I do need to get some green. No, I have a silver. It's confusing. I thought I had 4 Horns of Plenty and 2 silvers. Do I only have 3 Horns of Plenty? Maybe I only have 3 Horns of Plenty. That's really bad. And so that's 3 gains there. So I do have 7 gains if I draw a deck. So my capital is going to be set aside, and I'll put that in my hand at the beginning of next turn. So I could potentially just gain like Market. I don't actually need uniques. I could gain like more capitals or more spices. Give me a little more pressure. They're probably going to try to gain a bunch of provinces next turn. So I kind of need to count. So I'm drawing 10 cards at the start of my turn. So what are the 10 cards I want to be drawing? 3 Horns of Plenty, Spices, Potion is 5, 6, 7. So I can add 3 cards to my deck here that don't draw. Which I guess is going to be Province, Spices. Or I can buy that last Alchemist. It gives them a little bit more pile pressure. So if I'm buying like Province, Alchemist this turn, then I can add Spices, Market, Capital with my 3 gains here. Pick up a Ride just to make sure I draw. I think they probably have a win there. with the amount of Hornet planes they have. I think I have to trust that they can't draw. I guess I won't touch the market pile then. So spices, treasury, capital, province, alchemist, ride, crypt, and I will set aside capital, obviously. 5, so I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. That should be enough to draw next turn. Let me actually count. I added 4 cards of draw. I gained spices, capital, province. So I gained 3 cards in there that I can't draw. So I should be able to draw 14 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I think I'm just going to set aside 2 coppers in capital. And I should be able to draw. Unless if I bottom deck both the horse and the alchemist, then I think I have enough draw above that, obviously. Okay, so they have potentially 6 Horns of Plenty here, which would be enough for a pile out. They have it with, not sure why they're doing it this way, but it seems to work. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like I had a better line there. Maybe there was a more optimal line, but I think I needed to pile out that turn. I just didn't have enough buys in my deck. So I will see you all in game 3.